My friend, Congressman Chip Roy, is joining me over here to talk about a big event tonight, and I want to get his impressions of the 2020 Democrat, I guess you would call it a telethon last night. Chip, good morning to you, sir.
How are you, Trey?
I'm doing very well, Congressman. It's great to have you on. I was just reading that, let's get to this first, 6 o'clock tonight over on Redland Road, 18747 Redland Road, a rally along with the San Antonio Police Department Association to back the blue at 6 p.m. Tell us about that, Chip.
Yeah, Trey, look, I work closely with the San Antonio PD. They're great folks. I work with law enforcement all across the community. I'm unapologetic in my belief that we should be standing alongside the men and women in blue. Look, my grandfather was the chief of police of a small West Texas town, Sweetwater. My great-great-grandfather was a Texas Ranger. You know, I worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office. These are the folks who stand on that thin blue line, and we in Texas aren't going to allow this nonsense that's occurring in other parts of the country, Portland, et cetera. I don't care what the San Antonio City Council, and particularly the Austin City Council, which has cut its budget by a third for the police department. We're not going to stand for that, and I can tell you I'm not going to stand for that. So we're going to have a rally tonight, good group of folks, a few other elected representatives. I think my colleague, Representative Hurd is going to be there. I think a few state representatives and a few candidates will be there as well. And we're going to be standing up with law enforcement and making sure we're sending a message loudly and clearly to the people of Texas that we stand with law enforcement. I can tell you who won't be there, and that's my opponent in the race, Wendy Davis, who hasn't been able to utter a single positive word about law enforcement throughout all of this. But we're going to be there. We're going to stand alongside them and hope anybody who can show up. Let's go out there, Hacienda, up there off Redland Drive, up there along North San Antonio, 1604 and 281.
Well, Congressman, I can tell you, Wendy Davis is not going to stand up for cops. She's not going to do that at all. She is, in my view, in my opinion, anti-cop. She is the worst person I can think of when it comes to protecting life in the womb, and she is an absolute horrific candidate. And so on to Chip Roy, and Chip Roy, repeat and go back to Congress. Everybody get out and vote for him. We need voices like him, and we need people like him to support the police and Leo up there in Washington, D.C. Greg Popovich came out, told a lie this week about the incident with Michael Brown and Darren Wilson, said that Michael Brown was running away with his hands up. And that's not true. He was attacking Darren Wilson when Darren Wilson shot him, and that started the whole BLM movement. And Greg Popovich, the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, who has now become more of a political talking head figure than anything else, anti-Trump, told that lie, and then is also backed it up by saying he supports the Austin PD cuts, and he hopes and prays that they happen in San Antonio. Well, I hope and pray that Greg Popovich is put on the fastest train out of San Antonio as quickly as possible for not only the sake of the San Antonio Spurs, so that they got a chance at the future, but also the sake of our city, to save this city.
Well, look, people need to figure out how to, stay in their lanes and focus on what's, in front of them and their jobs. My personal view is I know what my job is. My job is to represent the 800,000 people of Central Texas who elected me to stand alongside law enforcement to actually make sure our communities are safe and secure. It is the first order of government. And the idea that you can say anything positive about cutting 1/3 of the budget in Austin, Texas for the police department when Austin is growing, when we've had crime. I mean, look, 2 weeks ago, God bless current Chief Manley in Austin PD, and by the way, the DPS head, Steve McGraw, who had 800 troopers there to make sure that when these Antifa, Marxist, leftists were trying to destroy Austin, we're talking about putting snipers on the top of buildings. This is true stuff. That we had our police department on horseback and moving people and moving these violent leftists off of the streets of Austin, rather than allowing them to destroy buildings, rather than allowing them to take over the city, tear down monuments, threaten lives, put shooters on the top of buildings, or whatever they were trying to do. And this isn't about black lives. That's nonsense. None of this is going to do anything about the 1-year-old black baby killed in New York, or the 3-year-old black boy killed in Chicago, or the 19-year-old black kid killed in a so-called autonomous zone in Seattle, or the 8-year-old black girl killed in Atlanta, Georgia in her car with her mom, or the 8-year-old black girl whose black dad was shot down in broad daylight in New York City. If the coach wants to help these black lives, where is he? Where's he going to put their names on their jerseys? Seriously,
right.
It drives me out of my mind.
Right.
Those are black lives. They matter. And the 45% of black businesses that have closed down over the last 6 months because of our response to the virus and because of this looting, what about their lives? What about the black families that have been decimated by leftist agenda since the Great Society, blowing up the nuclear family? Also, these people can feel good about themselves, patting themselves on the back while we actually destroy black families. It's time for Republicans, conservatives, stand up and say that we're going to advance an agenda and that we stand for the things that will elevate people, elevate black lives, elevate black families and all families, because that's what America does. And I'm tired of this nonsense.
Tonight at 6 o'clock over on Redland Road will be a rally to support the blue, back the blue, with Chip and others to be there. So everybody be there at 6 o'clock tonight. Real quick, I got about a minute left. Your thoughts on the telethon from last night?
Yeah.
The Zoom meeting?
I was campaigning. I was campaigning last night, and I came back home, and my daughter was watching Scooby-Doo on Boomerang, so it's probably about the same level of discourse. But I flipped over the channel, and I saw the absolute insanity, and Bernie Sanders was talking, and I saw something about John Kasich. Look, what you're seeing there is a radical leftist agenda, the most radical agenda that you're going to see on a Democratic ticket or any political ticket in our entire lifetime of our country. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris want to destroy our oil and gas industry, take our guns, destroy law enforcement. They want high taxes. They want to centralize everything in government. They don't want the freedom and the opportunity and the free enterprise system and the things that have made our country great. This election is about standing up for America. I'm going to stand up for America against Wendy Davis. President Trump is going to stand up for America. He wants to make America great while Joe Biden wants to tear it down, and Kamala Harris is looking to get a fast track to the White House, the presidency, because I'm not sure that Senator Biden is all there. So we're gonna keep working hard and campaign all the way through November, and make sure that people that look show up, tell your people we got to have you show up to vote, and register to vote, and walk and knock doors, contribute to the campaigns that matter. This election matters, and you're going to see it on full display, this leftist agenda, at their so-called convention this week.
Yeah, you can't sit this one out. Thank you, Chip. We'll talk again very, very soon, hopefully before the election.
All right.
Let's do it again.
God bless. Take care.
Have a good one. You too.